Welcome to KGXT, Gen X Talks podcast, live from Central California.
Making plans with the boys. I'm gonna hit the town. Yeah, I'm gonna make some noise. I'll push past the pain and my wounded pride. I'm gonna live it up. Yeah, stay out all night. But sure, I've had some better times. And I can't count all the tears I've cried. And maybe down my last time. Yeah, but the blues to me just fine.
Hello. Get done. Hello.
Turn the settings up, a little
Good
bit.
morning to you.
Turn the settings up.
To you. Good morning, dear people. Good morning to you.
Yeah, that's the way we want to start the show.
Why
All right,
not?
so going. It looks like we're connected. The pod track is moving up and down. Streamlabs is moving left to right. And the butt. Looks like
And
the
we're
butt.
here.
Now, are you monitoring? Well, welcome to KGXT Studios, 200 feet below occupied California. That's right, we're back in the danger zone. This is the Gen X Talks podcast with Gen X Mom, your queen, and humbly your general, sitting to her right and your left, as it looks on the screen. I was going to ask you something. Now, my mind's drawing a blank. Oh, are you watching the rooms?
I am in the KGXT live room on Discord.
Discord KGXT Live is where you can chat with us. Go to Discord, discord.gg/Gen X Talks.
The usual suspects are in the room right now. They're saying that the sound is great.
I thought it was funny. We did that. We had the KGXT Studios cam on in the bottom of the Glass Nation show, and I guess a few minutes before the show started, I got up and walked across the studio and grabbed a bottle of whiskey. And you said people noticed that he said he's grabbing.
Yes, if they're watching the studio cam, which there's only one person watching the studio cam right now. So
Never give the number. I need to write that down. I gotta have to write a fucking thing and put it. Never give the number. How
I'm
many people
sorry.
are watching the studio cam? So many.
I
you
can't count.
But you just relentlessly 4 years into this, and you still say it. I don't know. I swear to Christ Almighty.
Holy mackerel. People are jumping into the room right now.
So now you can go. If you want to jump in and see what's going on there, there's room for everybody. That's not true. There's a limit. We'll max it out. But hey, for a moment, it was an intimate group of three of us. You, me, and probably Chris, if I know who was in there. But anyway, all right. So there was stuff. Okay, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I want to submit to you
Oh, brother.
one of the most common things that goes wrong in marriages and friendships.
I must be in trouble.
You are in trouble.
Yeah, what
Not
else
only are you
is new?
saying numbers, which, I've told you never to say every goddamn show for 4 years. I'm panicking trying to get the show going. I'm
you
trying
want
to
me
get
to-
stuff figured out. I'm trying to get stuff. I'm trying to
Want me
think
just leave?
that's the choice, to take your ball and go home. Wow.
Yes.
Wow, that's what are you, 12? I'll take my ball and go home if you don't
Well,
like
you
my
guys
rules.
act 12. Why can't I act 12?
So here's the deal. Here's how this goes. Before the show, we try to remember the things that happened to us during the prior week,
'Cause
stuff that we went through.
We don't make a list.
No, we should. Sometimes I'll jot down some things just so I don't forget, but this time with all the hecticness, I did not. And so this morning I'm sitting down, I'm like, okay, I know we did some shit this week. There was some weird shit that went on. I gotta remember what it was. And thankfully, my wife is sitting next to me. Clack, 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 clack. The keyboard's going. I'm like, okay, she's got this. She's remembered. Because she'll do that sometimes. She'll put stuff in there. So now it's like 8 minutes before the show begins. I've got nothing. I can't remember what we did this week. And there was some really funny, weird shit that happened that I wanted to share.
Alzheimer's is
And I
kicking
can't
in.
remember. So I look over and I'm like, okay, but you got this, right? You're like, no, I didn't write anything down. What the fuck have you been doing? She's playing games. She's checking her email. She didn't write down one thing. I'm thinking she's focused on the show. She's getting ready. So now
I'm winging it.
There's 8 minutes. You're winging it. There's nothing to wing. Are we just going to sit here quietly and stare at the camera for
No,
an
there's
hour?
lots to talk about.
So then 8 minutes before, I'm calling her out on this, and I'm like, oh my God. So now I'm panicking. Okay, what do we do? Got to write some notes, got to remember some stuff. And then she goes, oh my God, you have to see this. Look at this. And she comes over with her phone, and she goes, these are the Bee Gees' grandsons, and they're singing a Bee Gees song. You have to, here, look at this. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me right now? There's 5 minutes before the show. The music's going to start playing any second. We've got Dick to talk about. We didn't write anything down. And I thought you were helping and you weren't.
Why are you raising your voice?
Because I'm
right
fucking
here.
angry. That's why.
I'm
and
right
then,
here.
then you put this in my face like, here, we've got 5 minutes to spare. Why don't you watch this video for 3 minutes? Are you out of your goddamn mind?
I'm
and the
totally
first thing
cool.
she does is start talking about how many people are in the Discord. I mean, if there was ever a person not focused and uncaring about my situation at this particular moment in time, it is the woman to my left.
See, Trippy's on my side. He says you don't need any notes. See, I told you.
Because Trippy's so good at this, he could do it without notes.
We don't need no stinking notes.
Don't need no stinking badges. Yeah, so that's how my morning is gone. A bunch of dumb stuff like that.
Well, I have a mind-blowing thing that happened.
Okay.
Hold on.
Yeah.
On my Rag Magazine X,
Yeah.
Trump signed an executive order on showerheads. Showerheads.
Showerheads.
There was an executive order that we had to use low pressure showerheads. There was an executive order.
Yeah, low flow.
Okay, now we had to write an executive order to make water pressure better.
You know, I'm normally the
like,
guy who says government needs to stay out of my life, out of my house, out of my bathroom.
Exactly.
But I'm okay with this one. If you're because he's lifting an order, we can have.
I
Don't
know,
you?
but the thing is that we had one way back.
It's been that way since the late 90s that you cannot sell.
That is
Home
just-
Depot can't sell them. It's illegal to import anything other than low flow shower heads.
Oh, I used to take those things out. You know, they used to put like a washer or something inside of
You
it.
learned that from me.
Bullshit.
I used to take those things apart, and then the ones they started taking out, they know that people were taking out the restrictors, so I started buying them and drilling them out in the bathroom, and in the garage, and I'd put them up in our bathroom with them drilled out so we could have high pressure. Yeah, so I've been fine. I'm good. I have my wonderful locks of hair have been getting the appropriate amount of water pressure for all these years. But thanks, Trump. I'm with you on that, buddy. Get rid of the bullshit. Let's get back to the common sense.
I just couldn't believe that was actually
Yeah.
what a waste of freaking time.
An actual thing. It's a real thing.
That's
Yeah,
just
It's
insane.
a real thing. It's real dumb, and they really did it. I like I like when they come up with common sense things, and then they just sit on them. There was one, they have a bill that's been sitting in the Senate for a long time about how politicians should not be able to participate in buying stocks.
Oh yeah,
And then it just sits there. No one ever does anything with it. It's good talking points. It makes for good TV, but then they never get around to voting on it, so everything stays the same. Yeah.
Oh well, now AOC is calling out any Republicans that have bought stock in the last 48 hours. Because Trump went in and said, now's a great time to buy. So she's calling everybody out. All the Republicans need to report that they bought during the last 48 hours.
Sure, as soon as Nancy Pelosi turns in all of her previous decades of stuff, I'm in.
Exactly.
And Trump told everyone to buy. He didn't whisper it to senators and congressmen. He told everyone to buy.
It's just like, what? Huh?
Hey, I fixed your microphone.
What was wrong with it?
Remember, the last couple episodes of Bottom of the Glass in the podcast, I was fighting with trying to get your volume up to a good level. I had it all the way up. You were talking all the way into it. I go, put that
Right.
black thing in your mouth and start talking. And I just couldn't get it to come up. I found a switch, a little tiny switch on that channel that Brigger, I'm sure Brigger had flipped on accident during moving it, because it's kind of right where you'd put your hand. But once I put it back, then your mic volume came up even with mine. I used to have to raise yours all the way to the top, and I tell you, put the microphone and it still couldn't do it. It still was not perfect. It's much better now. So yeah, you're welcome, America and Denmark. And speaking of that, how long have I been saying you're welcome, America and Denmark?
Oh my gosh. It's been quite a while. I
Years
don't
and
know.
years and years.
and years.
Okay, so how is Denmark even remotely in the news anymore, or today these days?
About Greenland?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Doesn't Denmark own Greenland, or their participation in that as
they kind
they're-
of oversee it.
yeah. So all this time that our listeners, our viewers, our fans have been listening to me say, "You're welcome, America and Denmark." Who knew that it was coming? That the day was coming when it would be like, now I see what the general was getting at. All the way back in 2020, he knew. He knew this was coming, man. He knew there was a thing. You're welcome, America.
Yeah,
and
you knew
Denmark.
it was coming. I got it. How did it start?
What's that?
How did that start? Did you just throw it out there? Or
no.
did somebody say they were from Denmark?
They got mad at me. We were doing it back when we first started doing this. Briggs had us doing big shows just on TikTok.
Okay.
And we were doing a big show and I said, "You're welcome, America." And somebody chimed in because you read the comment out loud. You were reading comments back then. And he says, "Well, what about those of us who don't live in America? Aren't we welcome too? I'm Bob from Denmark." And you read that to me. And I'm like, all right, Bob or whatever his name was. Sorry I left out Denmark. I'm sorry I didn't mention every country in the world. I just said, "You're welcome, America." And so from that day on, I said, "You're welcome, America and Denmark." And then that kind of put the exclamation point on it. But setting that moment aside, I think there was a subconscious thing that I knew about the...
you had it? You were like...
I knew the world was changing, and at some point, Denmark would come into play.
Deep in your soul,
yeah,
you felt it.
I have been a faithful fan of Denmark, and them doing the right thing for 4 years now. All right, way ahead of the curve. My pendulum has been swinging a long time.
That's for sure. There's no denying that.
All right. I think, are we still talking about global politics?
I don't know. Are we?
I don't know. You're the one who put a little smirk on the end of that. I can't tell what you're thinking.
A dangling participle?
Your participle is dangling. Why does every time you say that you look down like, what? My grandfather used to say that. He goes, "Hey, your participle's dangling again." And of course, I'd check in my zipper.
That's just a polite way to say that.
Do you know what that means? Your participle's dangling?
Yeah, I forgot what a participle is at the moment.
Well, it's like if you said, if you say, what door do I leave this room from?
Oh, yeah, don't leave. Yeah.
You can't leave the word from.
Got it.
So your participle is dangling.
Got it.
He says, "Oh, well, at Harvard, we don't leave our participles dangling."
Yeah.
Sorry. What door do I leave from, asshole?
Comma.
Now your participle's not dangling anymore. Yeah, I'm the only one that says comma out loud. I'm the only one dumb enough to do that. Yes, we are back in the California studios, KGXT studios, not for much longer. You guys know we're moving to Nevada. We're moving in stages, which I hate doing this. This is the worst move that I've ever performed in my life.
I completely agree with you.
It's tough. It's hard. We don't have 8 kids of varying ages helping run boxes and papers and scraps and trash.
I never had to move the last time we moved.
No, you didn't. All you had to do there was sit with your pina colada in your hand and your dark glasses and sit on the front porch in a chair.
And go, bye.
Right. Because
drive away.
Well, because last time, my big trailer, we took everything out of the living room, myself and 8 kids.
Oh, I was talking about 2 before 2.
Okay, well
back.
Now, are you making shit up or what? Do you even know what you're talking about? Because
I forgot we moved a mile away.
Yeah.
I wasn't talking about that one. I was talking about Oregon to California.
That one, you just had to sit there. We loaded up everything in Oregon. I drove it down with 3 kids. We unloaded everything, spent the night, drove all the way back. And after 4 trips of that, now, you did have to do a lot of moving there because you packed and you unpacked. You did a ton of moving.
But I didn't have to drive. No. I didn't have to be in the truck driving.
Okay, so be specific.
While you were on the road, I was still packing, and then you got back and then stuff, so.
Yeah, so you only missed the driving part, but that still, to me, is a ton of work. If you don't believe so, then I will, from this day forward, take credit that I did all of the moving on both trips, because if you're not going to take credit for all your packing, God damn it, I will. I will step in and kipe your duties.
I am, I was thinking... I am like the only person that could go through everything and pack, because now we have so many different elements of things, like the studio.
Right.
And then it's like my office, what you need. It's just interesting because I have to pack of what we're going to need, and then I got to pack for storage because we're downsizing.
We're downsizing
so much
to this.
That I got to make sure I get whatever's important.
For those that haven't been paying attention, we're leaving a very large house. We've rented a house for 2 years while we build on our property in Dayton, and the house that we're moving into that we rented is not even half the size of the one we're in now. So we only can put so much stuff in it. The rest all has to go into storage. And it'd be much easier to take everything up there and dump it out and sort it out. But we can't.
We can't.
We have to sort it as we're packing, so it goes to either storage or stuff we need in the house.
Right.
I'll tell you one thing that's kind of a side effect of this move. I'm starting to learn, and this isn't just like, I'm not just talking like your bathroom supplies and your kitchen stuff. It's studio stuff too. It's stuff in here. I'm learning what you can get by with. If you're going to live day to day, I'm learning what you actually need to have your hands on every day. And here's the other part of that is like, well, I only need these 13 items in the studio to function. I only need these 13 items in the bathroom to function. I only need these 13 items in the kitchen to function. Then you start thinking, well, why do I have 700 other things? And I thought about that because it really was kind of like, why do we have so much shit? But I get it. It's like why do I have in my garage? I have 4 big toolboxes full of tools. Why do I have them all? I don't use them all every day. But when I need that one tool, I want to be able to reach over and grab it and get it. If I'm in the studio and I'm like, oh man, I need a microphone broke. I need a spare microphone. I need to be able to grab a spare microphone and use it. Mm-hmm. If you're in the kitchen, you're like, oh, this hand mixer's not working. I need to grab my big mixer and get my big mixer out. All the stuff in my house that I need or you need, we have there just in case we need it. We can reach over and grab it. It is a lot different than all the shit you use every day. You don't use all this stuff every day.
No.
You have everything. It seems like Americans, or at least us, we have like 10% of what we need is what we use every day. The 90% of everything in our closets and our clothes and our shoes
is just in case.
You just got 90% of the stuff is within arm's reach. Even if you only need it once every 3 years, when you do need it, you know where to go get it.
Absolutely.
So I'm learning.
And that's why I'm being really meticulous about labeling things. So when we do put it in the storage,
right,
that if you had to go there, you could look at the box and really see what's in the box. I'm not just saying like kitchen.
No.
It's saying kitchen, cast iron.
Right.
Oh, this is the one I need. So I'm being very particular of and that's what I'm going to have to do at the studio.
Yeah, it'll make a big difference in the long run. If you take time to do it now, it'll make it such a nice deal when we go later to look for things.
It's just crazy and a lot. But we're going to do it.
So I'm sitting here. Those on camera can see I'm doubling up in pain. I'm hurting. My gut pain. It is not something that can be fixed, I don't think. And I go 2 days of feeling okay and 2 days where I want to shoot myself in the face with a shotgun, then 2 days where I'm living life and everything's great. And this is my life now. I think maybe I've changed my diet so much and it just has not improved. Dr. Mitrimi was a big thing, like change your diet, change your diet, change your diet. So I finally did. I mean, I have had almost nothing I'm not supposed to. I mean, 2% maybe. Where I had a cookie or I had some whiskey, maybe 2% of everything.
You're not having it every day.
No, not at all.
You should say you've cut back.
I have changed everything. I'm eating yogurt and drinking water. I mean, I'm doing all this stuff, and I wish this is the way my mechanic brain works. Just a dumb mechanic in the middle of the desert, and my 57 laps around the sun have focused me on one thing. I wish I could learn how pain pills worked. Because then I'd like to try to figure out how to point them to the pain. If you say, here's a pain...
They don't point it to the pain. They do it in your brain.
This is... Okay,
they shut it off in your brain.
I don't think so.
Your pain receptors.
I wish that were true. I can't believe that's how that works. No way. Because when you take a pain pill, how does it know to go to your knee? Or how does it know to go to your wrist?
Your pain receptors off in your body.
Well, then why can't we have a pain pill that just goes to the problem? Like if you were...
That's called a shot.
Well, they don't sell pain shots. They don't sell little morphine shots like they had in World War II where you can just take them and poke yourself with them and you're good. They don't have that. I wish they did. Maybe they do, but I ain't got one.
No, you don't. Thank God, because I think you'd OD on that shit.
Why? You think I'm that much of a baby that I just keep taking pain pills till I OD?
Yeah, you would increase it. Oh, that one's not working. Let's add a little more.
Okay.
Let's do a little more.
Yeah, all right, whatever. Yeah, you're not really propagating the fact that now if Dr. Madreamy's listening to this, he's going to be like, yeah, I was thinking about giving him some more medication, but after hearing how he handles himself, I'm not giving him shit.
He's not going to say that.
Thanks for throwing me under the bus there. That's twice today.
You throw me under the bus.
Only when you
Every single day.
You act ridiculous.
I'm not acting ridiculous.
Who puts a Bee Gees grandson video in front of a person who's got moments before their show? Who does that?
I do.
Okay, there's something wrong with you.
There's nothing wrong with me.
There's a...
Would have made you have a good morning, would have put you in a good mood, but no, Mr. Grumpy over here.
I'm not even sure if the original Bee Gees would have put me in a good mood. I'm quite certain their grandchildren weren't going to do it. That's what I'm saying. So along with fucking up our move and making things really hard on ourselves, our realtor and his photographer were here. But the one thing he said He whispered to me, he goes, the one thing you can't do is don't let your wife, this place can't look like a mess. When he come over, this fucking place had boxes everywhere.
Don't give a shit. Work around me.
You can't. You can't work around that shit. He needs to take pictures of the rooms.
Okay, he did.
Yeah, it was a mess. He came out and he's shaking his head. I go, I know. We just need to move completely out and let him take pictures. This is not. We either needed to make the house look perfect with all the furniture in it.
I am not waiting
everything
for him
in
to
it.
do
We
that.
could have done everything perfectly, made the house look just spectacular and cleaned and vacuumed and washed and painted with everything put away. No clutter hanging around. Let him take pictures of everything and then begin our move. Or wait till the house is completely empty,
I think
because
you should have waited till it was completely
this
empty.
halfway stuff that we've been trying to do it's
Because
hampering
what
us.
he thinks, like, I had the kitchen pretty much spotless and it looked great when he went in there. He still took stuff out of there.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? You should have just waited.
Because-
you know what I think it is? Instead of having people come in and stage the houses now, they use the person's stuff that's living there at the moment.
They do. Yeah.
I don't like that. When we were looking for a house to rent, I saw those pictures. They used people's stuff in the thing. I
got
didn't
it.
like that.
Well, I'm
it's
telling
my
you
house.
how he wants to do it.
Don't care.
Is either pack your kitchen so it looks like a full functioning, beautiful kitchen, or take everything out. What you did was you took most of it out. And he's like, now this just looks like you're poor and you only own 3 things in your kitchen. Finish taking them out. And that's what he did.
Here's the bottom line. He works for me. I
Wow.
don't work for him.
Wow. He's the professional.
Don't care. My house, my
Okay,
rules.
I'm just telling you how this goes. You sound like a persnickety bitch right now. If some wife came in and said, I'm working on her car, she goes, you may be the mechanic, but you work for me and you'll do the car the way I say I'd go. Get your fucking car out of here. You have no idea what you're talking about. I don't care if it's your car. I don't care if it's your money. You don't know how to fix the car. Okay. I don't care if it's your money, your majesty. You don't know how to sell a house. You don't know how to sell a house.
That's fine. Then he could wait.
That's what I just said.
And I said that before.
You know what?
I said that before. This isn't the first time I said it.
Woosah. All right.
Oh my
So
God.
I was driving through Carson City on March 30th. No, March 31st.
There you go. Welcome aboard.
And I think I told the story a little bit. I was talking to my mom, but there's something I felt bad about, and I wanted to tell you about that part. I just happened to be driving through Carson City. I put Ranger in the back of my truck with me, and we took off to do some stuff. And she says, "Oh, I was married in Carson City." Now, remember, when my mom and dad got married, I was 8, and so I was like, "Oh yeah, you guys ran away, you eloped. I never knew it was Carson City." "Oh yeah, we got married in Carson City." And she tells me the name of the little wedding chapel. And here I am, 50 years later to the day. I'm driving through Carson City. I said, "Well, Mom, did you ever think that 50 years after you got married, you'd be talking to your son as I'm driving through Carson City, nearby where you got married?" And there, "No, I never thought it." And she goes on. And then I felt something bad.
What?
This is one of those things, and some of you out there in radio and TV land are going to get this. Traditions change, as they always do. I'm not a fan of losing our traditions, and this one, it never even occurred to me until after I hung up with my mother.
Okay.
All of a sudden, I was reminiscing. I hung up with a conversation with my mom. I was driving back towards Minden to catch up with you, and I remembered my grandfather and attending with me in Prescott, Arizona, a 50th anniversary for his older sister. Their kids had put it together and invited all the relatives, the great aunts, the great uncles, and so it was a family thing that the children and the grandchildren had done for the grandparents.
Right.
And my grandfather had taken an I don't know what he made. It was like a tree branch, I guess, but it had like many branches, and he affixed it to a mahogany place of wood, so it looked like a tree. No leaves, just the branches. And then he took fishing line and drilled holes in silver dollars and hung 50 silver dollars on this thing, and then he painted the whole thing gold. Mm-hmm. So there's this golden tree with 50 golden dollars hanging from it. And that was a gift. And everybody came to Arizona for that week, and it was a big deal. And there was a lot of barbecues, and of course the big event where everybody dressed nice, and it was a big event for 50 years. Mm-hmm. Then I remembered my mother doing it in Bend, Oregon for my grandparents. Uncle Danny was there, and Aunt Carrie, and all the kids and grandkids, and everybody came from all over, and they had a big deal for their 50th anniversary at a church, and it was actually in Tumalo, Oregon. And of course, that was 25 years ago or so. And then all of a sudden, I realized my mother's anniversary just passed, and nobody did a thing. And I never thought about it. It just never crossed my mind to put this together.
I would have done it, but I didn't know it was their 50th.
I didn't
realize that.
And there's so much going on right now in our family. There's some strife and struggles going on with my brother, and my grandmother has just died, a few months back. But I think my mother would have very much liked someone to do for her what she had participated in. And she went to more of those than I did.
I know, I've been to a few.
It never even occurred to me, and I doubt it occurs to anybody. Not many Gen Xers would think about it or put in the effort to do it anymore, although I bet a lot of us have attended those as young people.
You know what's funny? I was sitting here thinking, I remember I was young when my parents celebrated their 25th wedding anniversary.
Yeah.
I believe my sister, and probably my sister did it, my brother was participating, and then they kind of grouped me into it, like, oh, the kids are giving this 25th.
Yeah.
But those silver dollar things,
yeah,
my parents got a bunch of those. That must have been like that thing at the time.
Must have been. Because
they got quite a few. I have one. My brother found one and gave it to me, and I have a 25th wedding anniversary one. But I think it was just that time frame was like people did that.
But see, not only do I miss those traditions, but I fucked one up.
Yeah.
I didn't. It didn't even.
You didn't really. We could still host one.
I know you could. It just, we're moving. We got so much going on right now.
We could do it in the summer.
We might have. I don't know. I'm just letting you know that. It just seems.
We could do it at your parents' house. We could do it and just send out invitations to do it in the summer.
It just seems like it was something that I should have done on time, and thought about it, and it never even occurred to me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years before it happened, never crossed my mind. Didn't cross my mind during the conversation until after I was on my way home.
I could get
it kills me inside that I'm that guy, that I should have thought of that, especially that I'm so big on holding on to some of the better and cooler traditions, that families have done for years. I don't know why I'm bringing that up. I don't know. Maybe everyone's just shaking their head going, yep, you're an asshole. Maybe you guys did stuff for your grandparents and parents' 50th, but I didn't, and I feel horrible.
I think it's a milestone nowadays to reach those goals.
Maybe that's why they don't do it, because nobody gets there.
That's right. Nobody's getting there nowadays.
Maybe everybody's on their third marriage, and they're going to be lucky to reach 20, so they don't even plan it out anymore.
Can I give everybody a little dirt on your family that we found out?
I guess.
Because we didn't mention it.
All right.
So your mom showed me the newspaper clipping of the announcement of your grandparents' wedding. It was from the Burbank News.
Of my grandparents? Really?
Yes. It's a newspaper clipping, and I have a picture of it. But I was reading it, and I started laughing. They said, I asked your mom, I go, wait a minute. Grandma Dodd's father didn't give her away?
He didn't?
No, he didn't. It has somebody else's name on it. And I said, she goes, no, there's a little controversy there. And I said, what? What was it? Like,
now, you do realize I have no idea what you're saying right now.
I have proof. And your mom, yeah, you weren't in the room.
No, I wasn't even there. And you didn't tell me the story all the way home?
Oh my gosh. Okay. No, I just dawned on me. So I'm looking at the newspaper clipping and I'm reading it, and it talks about what dress she wore and who was her bridesmaid,
right?
Her maid of honor, and your grandpa.
This is in an article in the paper?
Yes, I have the article. I have the actual paper.
Okay.
They spelled your grandfather's last name W-O-D-D. Wad.
W-O-D-D?
Yeah, Wad instead of Dodd.
Instead of Dodd. What?
Yeah, so they missed that. But then they said that Barbara Peters, was she Barbara Peters?
Yeah,
Barbara Peters was given away by yada yada. I can't remember the person's name. I went, that's not her dad. That has no, Peters at the end.
Not Peters.
And your mom goes, yeah, there's a little drama there. And I said, what? Your great-grandfather...
Yeah.
did not approve of your grandfather, did not want your grandmother marrying him.
Yeah, we all knew that.
He did not walk her down the aisle. He didn't go to the wedding. He didn't show
Wow.
up that day.
We all knew that he didn't. There was a feud between my grandfather and his father-in-law, my great-grandfather.
Yeah, so he didn't give her away. He wasn't there, and your grandmother went ahead and married him anyways.
I never knew that. Are you kidding me?
It's there. It's in the. I was like, wow. Back in those days, and look
That's
how long
incredible.
your grandparents were married.
Yeah, forever. And
That's
he
like
was,
a kick in the ass.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So he never came around?
He never went to the wedding. Your mom said he never went to the wedding.
Do you want to know the story on how that all started?
Uh-oh.
How the feud between my grandfather and his one-day father-in-law started?
Go ahead.
There was two stories that happened like within a couple of days. My grandfather was Jack Dodd. That's the one they spelled wrong. He was going to get married to Barbara. And I guess he was like 15 or 16. And she was telling her dad, I'm going to date Jack. I'm going to go on a date with Jack. He's like, you're not the guy's trouble. And she goes, no. So grandma gives her dad this whole story and how wonderful Jack is. The same way all girls lie to their dads about guys.
Yes.
And
We always paint a good picture.
always.
Have to.
Yeah.
Don't say the bad stuff.
Never.
Leave that for later.
So the next day or later that afternoon, it was really quick, a cop came to the door
Uh-oh.
and says, grabbed my great-grandfather and said, do you know a Jack Dodd? And he goes, well, we know him. He runs the neighborhood. He wants to date my daughter. And he says, well, there's Whitey Steele had some tires and wheels stolen off of his Buick, and we're pretty sure Jack's involved, and we knew he was interested in your daughter. Did he store him did he stash him in your garage or something? And so they went through the garage and looked in the side of the house and the barn, and no, they didn't store him there. But as soon as the cop left, great grandpa turns to grandma and goes, see, the cops are already looking for this guy. And she goes, he didn't have anything to do with it. You don't know that he was even there, participated. So eventually, she had nagged him. They was almost ready for the date. And then this came up and great grandpa said, nope, no date, no date, no date. Finally, he relented. So Friday, grandpa Jack shows up. He's going to date grandma for the first date. And grandma had prepped him and said, listen, my dad already doesn't like you. My dad already thinks you were involved in stealing those wheels and tires.
Yeah.
So when you show up for this date, you better show up with a tie. Don't screw this up.
I do know the story. Yes, that's great.
Don't screw this up. You show up in a tie, no matter what. Grandpa. So Jack says, all right, I'll show up. My grandpa, I'll be there in his dress. So he comes and knocks on the door, and great grandma goes down the hall and says, Barbara, Jack's here for your date. Great grandpa was already at the door just seething. And my grandma turns the corner and looks at her first date with Jack, and he's standing there with flowers in his hand, his pressed pants, his shiny shoes, no shirt, bare-chested, but he had a tie on.
Hey, well,
He put the tie on and knocked on the door with flowers and says, I'm here for my date.
I wonder where you get it from.
That was the beginning
Of a long marriage.
and that was 39 maybe, or 38. I'm guessing somewhere in there.
I love that.
Anyway, that was the
And he
beginning.
didn't show up to the wedding.
Yeah, whatever contentions they kept having, which there's many stories. I never knew that he never showed up.
Never showed up. Didn't give his daughter away.
Wow.
So in his eyes, they were never married.
You know what?
He did not witness it.
If that's a precedence, I might use that, because if you don't approve of the wedding, if as the father of the bride and you don't go, do you have to pay for it still? Because I can get out of that now. I can go, no, totally don't approve, not going, not showing up, not giving her away, and therefore
think
not
about
paying.
Back in the day, I mean, they kind of paid for it, but nothing. I mean, they didn't have elaborate weddings like they have now.
No.
Most of the time you did it like in a hall or in a church.
It still costs money.
You know what? Most of the time, if you did it in a church, you made like you gave a donation to the church. most of the time that was it. And then the congregation usually fed everybody.
Yeah.
It was kind of like a potluck. People don't do that anymore.
If it was a Catholic church, when they put their hand out for the money, I'd go, I'm Protestant, and I'd leave.
Oh, my gosh. Whatever. Good story, huh? Family dirt.
I had no idea that was the case.
I'll show it to you later.
Well, now I got to
great.
get up there and ask my mom. I go, wait a minute. So let's get into this feud, because I know a few of the stories, but now I want to know the rest.
You better get it from your mom. You better put it on tape.
That's right. Got to get it on
knows.
film. So, quick Briggs update. A lot of you have asked. He's still doing so much better in being responsible around here. He's making a few mistakes, but he's doing a lot better. He was supposed to be doing something, and I caught him playing video games, and he's like, I forgot. Other than that one time, he's pretty much been spot on for the past couple weeks, which is always a good start. You got to
And he's
have
trying to see all his friends and girlfriends and spending time with them, too.
you got to have 2 good weeks before you can have 4 good weeks. You got to have 4 good weeks before you can have 10. So I'm happy about the first 2. However, he's learning to do a lot of repairs around the house, and the problem is, for you members, you saw the waterfall thread where he was doing the waterfall, and he's like, needs a switch. He goes and buys a switch, still didn't. Needs a breaker. Goes and buys the breaker, and he's like, I don't know what's going on, and then he finds out he didn't have the power onto it at the main panel. So he guesses. He tells you with confidence, this is what's wrong. My ceiling fan in my bedroom quit working, and I'm pretty sure it's just an old worn out fan, but he's like, no, it's the switch. No, I found a wire that had just come undone. And then an hour later, then the fan doesn't work again. I said, well, I'm sorry. What about your wire that was undone? Didn't the wire fix it? Well, I said, sit down. And I gave him a very life lesson. And most of you guys out there know this, is that if you don't know that you fix something, don't lie. Don't tell people, it needs a switch or a breaker. I've diagnosed it correctly, because after you do that, people are going to laugh at you behind your back and go, oh, needed a breaker, huh? Guess you just wasted money on a switch, wasted money on a breaker. I go, don't do that shit.
Yeah.
I said, you know how to diagnose this, but then also don't take credit for shit. If all of a sudden something begins working, don't take credit for it and go, I just tightened a bolt and everything seems to be okay. Look at me. I'm the hero. Because as soon as that thing quits working again, everyone's going to laugh at you and go, oh, well, you tightened a bolt, buddy. Go tighten another bolt, you dumbass. Go plug that wire back in. I go, I'm telling you, this is a life lesson I'm trying to teach you right now, that everyone will laugh at you, and all you will do your entire life is have jobs stacking boxes. Because that's all you're going to be trusted with. You're never going to be trusted with anything other. Move that pile of rocks from there to there. Let me know when you're done. Well, no, I can't give you anything better than that, because you make up stuff. You pretend you fix things. You guess. You throw parts at it. You throw every part you can until it's fixed. That isn't diagnosing. That's just guessing with someone else's money.
Yeah, so, when he was working on the switches and replacing bad ones, broken ones. We're not talking all our switches are bad. Some of them are broken, okay?
Yeah, some work, but they're
so
broken.
He was replacing the broken switches. But he was shutting off the breaker panel and coming back or something or whatever. So I'd go hit it, and the electricity wouldn't turn on or whatever. So I would make him come in the room, and I go, can you go, do that switch, make the light turn on? And he goes, ding. He's pushing the button. I go, what do you think? How are we going to solve this? So I made him go back and check it and go, okay, so we don't have electricity. What are we doing? So he is learning to. He's learning
to not be a lazy dill about stuff. You can't be a dill hole. You got to actually know what you're doing and follow through. Just finish the job. It's like he told me. He goes, well, I think you need a ceiling fan. I go, yeah, you're taking that from what I said. Why do you think we need one? He goes, well, I said, you know what the deal is. Don't be lazy. Get up there, pull the cover down, put your multimeter on the wires, and have mom turn the switch off and on. If power and ground and neutral are present at the fan, guess what? It's in the fan. That's it. But I'm not going to have you guess. And this is what I told him. I said, fine, you can guess. But if you're wrong, you're paying for the fan.
Oh.
So you go ahead. You can guess all you want. But every part you use that doesn't fix it, you're paying for it. And then he started to raise his eyebrows and go, well, now hold on a second there. Hold up on that car wash there, boy. So he's coming along, but these are some life lessons. I might as well do them to him right now. We're in the middle of fixing and repairing things. Well, then I'll just hit him up with it. What else? What better time than right now?
You know what? I have to say that, the multimeter, you've taught him how to use that and stuff
Yeah.
like that. There's a lot of kids out there that don't even know what that is. So he's kind of ahead of the game with that.
He's very proficient at it too. Like he knows ohms, he knows DC
You know what he said to
voltage.
me yesterday?
Yeah.
He goes, well, I think I could have a fallback job as an electrician. I said, Briggs, I said, that is a fantastic job to have. I go, it's a
Yeah.
trade job, and that's never, ever going to go away. He goes, I kind of like this. I
He's
really like it.
very astute to it. It's just that he loses interest in it after he's good at it. Like
Well,
he's like,
he was saying, he goes, oh, I can do light switches all day. I go, well, being an electrician isn't exactly all just light switches.
he could advertise himself. I'm your light switch guy. I'm going to get a van. I'll put light
I
switches
said
on
there's
it.
a little more in the
You need your light
electricity.
switches done. I'm your light switch guy. We have a commercial break coming up.
Oh, we do?
Yeah. When you think that you're in trouble and you need help on the double. When you think that you might take a licking.
Buck, 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 buck.
I have to drink. I forgot this morning.
You forgot your coffee.
I forgot my
Shot of caffeine.
This is what makes me nice.
Oh, God.
So don't tell me.
I'm going to get it in buckets, in gallons.
I thought you were going to say, then take two.
No, it's going to take gallons.
Got my secret sauce right here. Give me a second to put this down. My wife can talk while I ventriloquist my voice.
I don't know what to talk about at this moment, except watching you drink your little shot of whatever.
Wow, that was really good. You did great, honey.
I know.
You filled that 8 seconds perfectly
I understand.
by describing A, you didn't know what to say, and B, what was going on.
Ah,
Anyway, so back to Briggs. He's getting it done. And I thought of something. We've done so many drives back and forth from Nevada. I was thinking about something the other day.
oh, great.
Now, look this is serious. What are some of the big complaints you have while we're driving? Truckers.
Yes.
Because they take up all the lanes passing and they pass each other like at half a mile an hour
No
faster than the
disrespect
next
to
guy.
our truckers out there.
No, our truckers are fine. Gen X Talks truckers are great. It's the other guys, not what some people hate you guys. Not me, of course. Other people, But I'm thinking of a lane of traffic, and I think the entire country would vote for a gas tax to pay for this if they'd actually do it.
What is it?
On every major highway and byway out there where there's long stretches of road and truck, maybe not in town as much. Okay.
Okay.
Making up one more lane. If it's a third lane, a fourth lane, a fifth lane, a sixth, I don't care. Just add one more lane. Like where the emergency lane is in the middle, maybe. And make it a sleeping lane.
A what?
A sleeping lane. Now,
And how's that going to work?
okay. So right now, Teslas and other cars, you can drive while you sleep, but you have to touch the steering wheel because they really don't want you sleeping. If you don't touch the steering wheel, the car pulls over and shuts down. Let's go the other way.
Okay.
Let's make these cars fully sleep and not fast and only in one lane, a sleeping lane. Where if you really are tired and you want to put your Tesla on sleep mode, you go to sleep, the car moves over into a 30-mile-an-hour lane.
Okay.
Because let's face it, going 30 miles an hour when you're driving across country, you're driving across state, wouldn't you rather get 30 miles an hour under your belt while you sleep with your eyes closed than sitting on the side of the road at a campsite
So
or at a
you're
rest
saying
stop?
people are going to go 30 miles an hour and sleep in their car, but their car's going to continue to go.
Right. Yeah. Car goes. You're like, oh man, I'm so tired. Do I pull over and get a motel? Do I pull over to the side of the road and sleep for 4 hours? No. Every car is going to be equipped with an auto drive system. Pull over into the sleep lane, hit sleep. The car drives at a very safe 30 miles an hour. It doesn't get off the road.
I couldn't do it.
It doesn't change lanes. And guess what? You could do it with trucks too. They make truckers pull over mandatory. You cannot be in your truck. You got to be on. You got to have a sleep log that you fell asleep and you did. Fine, do that. Do that for a truck. They can go 30 miles an hour too, sleeping. It's a very safe speed to travel at. Everyone would like to get 30 miles an hour, 30 miles per hour while they're sleeping rather than be sleeping. If you slept for 4 hours on the side of the road, or you could have slept in your car and been 120 miles down the road. You see? It's so
I wouldn't
simple.
be able to sleep like that. No
and
way.
you don't have to worry about all these cars being mixed in with other traffic, ever. The car knows if it's in sleep mode, it moves over to that special lane, it stays in that lane, and that's
Oh,
it.
I don't know. I just yawned. You're talking sleep.
Oh yeah, it's not that you always yawn during this program. It's me talking.
I don't know.
sleep.
That makes me nervous about that.
Okay, but at least I'm on the right track here.
You know, since you said that, you don't see many cars on the side of the road sleeping anymore. Have you noticed?
Not at all. No.
I remember when we were younger, you saw it all the time.
All the
you
time.
see truckers.
Yeah, well, and
Like in rest areas,
Right.
you know, stuff like that. But I don't see cars doing that anymore.
I don't see hitchhikers anymore. How many hitchhikers did we used to see? Every on-ramp had 2 or 3 people hitchhiking all over. And now I'll be lucky if I see one every 6 months. I just don't see people hitchhiking.
Is it illegal to be on the freeway on-ramp now?
It always has been. There's always been a sign. In fact, they took most of them out in Southern California, but a lot of them are still there. It says pedestrians not allowed past this point. And it was a white sign with black letters. Right as you get on you can go like 50 feet, and that's it. That was for hitchhikers because they don't want people hitchhiking on the freeway because they don't want people pulling over at 70 miles an hour.
I agree. I mean, but I remember seeing many of them on the on-ramp. You know,
I just don't see them anymore. People hitchhiking as much, and we talked about this in a Bottom of the Glass Nation show a couple weeks back. But it is odd that why isn't that a trend? What, does everybody have a car now?
Well, I think it's just because people think that you don't know what you're picking up nowadays.
And back then you did. In the 70s, you thought it was safe?
I don't know.
I think the 70s were the pinnacle of, being scared about who picked you up. That's just me. What do I know? I'm just a dumb mechanic in the middle of the desert. You just mimicked me.
I did.
Okay, you're making fun of me in front of my friends on my own show. You know that, right?
This is just your show? I'm part of this podcast too.
But they're my friends.
Oh, please. Whatever. We're going to go down that road again, huh? See who's more popular?
No.
You or me?
No.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Okay.
Because it's like coming up, it's being asked all the time. Would you go to Mars? Would you go to Mars with Elon Musk?
With Elon? Absolutely.
Well, no, I mean, like, would you go to Mars?
If Elon calls and says, I've got an extra seat, I'm like, I'm there, man. Let's go.
You can't even get on an airplane.
Maybe it's different in space because there's nothing to crash into.
What?
I'm worried in an airplane. I'm not worried. I don't mind
God.
takeoff. The thing that everyone is afraid of is takeoffs and landings. They hate it. They panic.
Right.
I don't know. That's like everyone I talk to. I can't tell me. I hate takeoff and I hate landing. I hate takeoff and I hate landing. I'm like, I don't care
my
about
favorite
that.
part.
Yeah, I don't mind it at all. I'm close to the ground. I hate 30,000 feet and something's going wrong. That's what I can't handle. So, but in Mars, if you're in space, you can't. It's like, we've had a malfunction. Well, we're not going to crash because there's nothing to run into.
Or you're going to blow up.
Well, it's like what they ask Elon, say, do you wish you could die on Mars? Would that be where your final resting place would be? He goes, I would like to die on Mars, just not on impact. He goes, I don't want to die.
Would you go? What if they perfected it? Would you go?
Yeah, I'd go.
You really would?
I would. Yep. Absolutely. Go.
To go, why? Why would you want to go?
Just say I've been there.
Huh.
Just I'm standing on Mars. That way my kids could go, holy shit, Dad stood on Mars.
Why don't we do that and go to the moon? Why won't they take people? I mean, we could probably make the moon a lot easier. Why would
Boring.
What do you think Mars is going to be like?
Well, there's no way to sustain life on the moon unless it's all artificial. You got to build bio bubbles and shit to be on the moon. So what's the point of spending, trillions of dollars to sit on the moon and go, okay, I'm here. And there's no benefit. You got to figure out the gravity thing and the food thing and the water thing. But there is the potential on Mars. Theoretically, I've watched these guys, they say we could turn Mars into a whole ecosystem where it creates its own weather. It has the chance. Do you remember the movie Total Recall?
It's been a while.
Okay. So one of the things they figured out, everyone was on Mars. The movie was on Mars. The movie was based on Mars. And they figured out, and they kept it a secret, that deep inside of Mars, these aliens had built, like they said, the inside of Mars was ice. And they built this massive machine in the core of Mars, and somebody had to put their hand on it and triggered the machine, and all the ice turned to like a steam and went up and made clouds, and a lot of it melted and flooded. And all of a sudden, within like 20 hours, Mars had water and an atmosphere and a blue sky because it just needed the moisture that was there. All the other conditions on Mars were similar enough to where if you could just figure out a way to do the water and oxygen thing, Mars could be a planet. The moon could not. couldn't, no matter
Well,
what
I
you
was
do.
just saying to go there, like not to sustain life and live there. I wasn't saying would
Oh,
you go
mean
like just
no? It's too far. It's like 9 months to get there, and you step out and take a picture. You're like, it's
well,
not like
that's why I'm saying about the moon. Why don't they just make trips like a
don't know.
adventure just to go check it out?
if
and
they
see
thought
what it is.
if they thought they could make money at it, selling tickets to go to the moon and back, they would. If it was profit in it, and I'm sure hundreds and hundreds of people have worked out the math. And it's like now, it's just not profitable yet. We couldn't
But you
sell
would
the
go
ticket.
and live on Mars, is what you're saying.
Yeah, oh yeah, I'd finish out my days on Mars, but I wouldn't. It's not like driving to the Grand Canyon, where you drive to the Grand Canyon, you get out, you take a family picture, you get back in the station wagon, and you leave. Mars is 9 months away. That's a long way to go to take a picture and get back in the rocket and come home.
I
That's
agree.
18 months of
Yeah,
like.
you're gonna have to hang out there for a while.
You better make sure you get a good picture, because if it's blurry and you got to go back, that's
Thank
horrible.
God for digital pictures, not a Kodak moment, right?
You
But
go
you
to-
got to take it to the Kodak thing and wait a week
Go to
and see what happens.
Photomat. Go to Photomat and go, I hope these pictures turn out good. I flew it 9 months, 2 ways to get these things. God
And then you
damn
get
it.
them back. Oh,
Oh,
shit.
we're going again.
I used to hate getting that, spending the money on blurry pictures.
Or you get like 3 out of your pack of 50 that were good. You're like, God damn it. You know, I had a friend that used to work at Photomat, and he got the job there. He's in one of the little Photomat booths. And I kept saying, why don't you get a better job, man? You've been working here for like 2 years, and you could have gone to stereo places. I mean, you could, back in the day, you get a job anywhere, especially when you got experience, job experience, go work someplace else. You know, the number one reason he said he'd never leave there?
What?
He got to go through everybody's pictures, and there were so many naked pictures. He goes, you wouldn't believe the number of pictures that people turn in of parties and stuff. He goes, I'd miss all that. This is like free porn. I don't got to buy a Playboy.
Oh, my God.
I don't got to steal my dad's magazines, Hustler magazine. He goes, these are real people. And here's the best part, he said. You go through and you see all these naked women pictures. He goes, and then the lady comes to pick him up herself. And you just like, you hand him to her going, all right.
Uh-huh.
So he never quit. As far as I knew, he worked there for most of his young adult life. He never, till they didn't have photo
I was
map
going to
booths.
say until it was gone.
Yeah, but he rode that thing till the last moment. I'm telling you. Now I get where he's coming from on that. It wouldn't be my choice, but
I get what he's stepping in.
you smell
smell
it. You
it.
smelling what he's stepping in?
Yes.
So, yeah.
Okay, so we did a Brig update. You want
Yeah.
to give a Jade update?
She finally moved out. Those of you who are on the member site, Patreon, or if you guys can access the General's Lunchbox on Facebook, that's a Facebook page. Or if you're a YouTube member, just sign up for the YouTube membership. It's $1. I posted pictures because when I went into her room after 4 months of her packing,
And you thought I was joking.
I thought you and Briggs were lying about how she was living in that room. And I'm like, even if you I yelled at her. I called her in the morning. She was across town. I called her and said, even if you weren't moving out as fast as I want, how the fuck are you living like this? There's bowls of food, there's glasses, there's silverware, there's trash, there's candy bar wrap. I fucking lost my mind.
I told you.
I took pictures of that thing. I posted them on the internet. I posted them for the members, and I said, my daughter's got till noon to get here with a fucking truck and her friends and empty this out, or I'm throwing it all out.
Yeah, moving wasn't an option at that point.
I told Briggs, I said, if she's not here by noon, I said, take everything out and throw it in the back of my trailer and break it as you do it. I'm done. Break everything, the dresser, the bed, all of it. I'm fucking carrying my, because this has been 2 or 3 or 4 years of her living this way, according to you and Briggs.
Yes.
This has been 4
Even
months.
longer.
This has been 4 months of her saying, I'm getting moved out, Dad. I'm making progress. I'm boxing stuff up. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. And then I open the door and it doesn't look like anything's been done. And I said, how can you, even if you're not packing, how the fuck are you living like this? What are you doing? And so she showed up with a U-Haul. I got pictures of that for the member site.
she did.
And she showed up with a U-Haul, her boyfriend, and 2 friends, and they moved everything out. And then when she wiped the blinds, she wiped the windowsills, and you vacuumed the room. And then we showed it. But one day, from like 7 o'clock in the morning till noon, I said, if this isn't done, and I never get upset at her with this shit. And I lost my goddamn mind. And she raced to get a truck and get across town and get it all out of there. And
It
she
should
did.
have been done a month ago.
Should have been done a long
She
time
dragged her feet. I think she didn't think we were serious about moving.
Well, that's just like her car. We talked about her driving around for a year and a half with no registration, no insurance. And I finally had to force her to go do it. You know what I'm forcing her to go do now? She doesn't have her license.
I know.
Her license went to 2 years ago, her mailing address. Her license was mailed to her ex-boyfriend's family, and she didn't want to go get it. She was embarrassed or it was uncomfortable. She didn't want to go.
Don't give a shit. I'd be knocking on the door
go,
going, give me my license.
I go, just tell me the address. I'll go get it. She goes, no, Dad, you'll make a scene. I go, you goddamn right I'll make a scene. Give me the fucking license.
Personal business.
And she wouldn't do it, so I don't know if they still have it or they lost it, but they never gave it to her.
Of course
so
not.
It expired. And she just let it expire. She didn't get a copy. She didn't get a new one.
Somebody could be walking around with her license.
Pretending to be her.
You know what else I told her, and I don't think it's going to happen, is I have told her 2 months ago. I remember telling our daughter Megan, and we told Jade, I said, they kept getting mail at our house. I said, you guys need to get a change of address into the mail. No more mail coming to this address. Our one daughter, did it as soon as I did it. She told me or whatever. Did Jade? No. A month later, I'm like, did you change your address? Did you change your address? Still nothing.
I got part 2 to that story.
And guess what? Mail showed up yesterday in her name.
I got part 2 you don't know about.
Oh, man.
I never thought about this because she's been talking to me so much. I've not been relaying every conversation.
Okay,
so
what's the
she
latest?
goes and she's figuring stuff out. She's driving around town, getting things done. And she goes, well, I'm going to the post office over here to get my change of address because she goes to this whole big thing online. And she goes, they won't let me change it online. I have to go in.
Megan did it online.
And I said, why is that? She goes, because they say it's a safety thing that anybody could log in and change anybody's mail. They don't know that it's you. So she says, you can't go do it online, so I have to go in. I said, all right, that makes sense. Go in. So she's picking a post office in a bad part of town, and it's getting towards the evening. And I go, just don't go there. Just, wait till tomorrow. Come over to the one Mom goes to. It's just, you probably go during the middle of the day or in the morning, where you won't get in trouble with anybody. So she goes over there. And she's so mad. She calls me. She goes, I was in line for an hour. I was in line getting all this stuff done, trying to do all these things. And I get to the front of the line. I fill out the paperwork. They said it's wrong. I didn't fill out the right form. I got back in line, filled out the right form, took it up there, didn't have it filled out correctly, got back out of line, filled it out, got back in line, got back to the front, got everything filled out how it was supposed to be. And they said, okay, all we need to see is a copy of your driver's license. Which, as we just found out, she still doesn't have because she wouldn't go get it from her ex-boyfriend's family. And I said, see? Teachable moment right here, Jade. Get off your ass. Quit being lazy. You didn't think it would matter. You didn't think it was a big deal. And here it is affecting another part of your life because you won't do the stuff you're supposed to do on time. And she just got so mad. She hung up on me. I said, good, hang up. I don't give a fuck. But that was me telling her, quit being lazy. This is you didn't know that story because I didn't tell it to you. I didn't even think about it.
No, so I don't think it's been done because mail showed up here.
It has not been done. She has not done it. She has to get her license.
She's going to lose her mail
Well,
because I'm not forwarding anything.
No, she came over here 2 days ago and used our printer to print out something that she filled out online. So she has a temporary license. Now, she did get that far, and now the correct one is being mailed. Now, I don't know if it'll take a week or 6 weeks, but it's on its way.
Oh, God. And we're not going to be here.
Not going to be here.
Where is it going to be mailed to?
I hope she put down her new place.
Her new address?
Yeah, I hope
that
she
will
did.
be interesting.
So
I don't know. Hey,
yeah.
Let's switch gears.
All right.
No more kid talk.
No more kids.
Can we talk a little political stuff?
Quickly. People don't like politics on this show.
Can you explain the tariff, the strategy of the tariff? Maybe simplify it for me, nuts and bolts,
The simple thing is if you're a country, let's say you're Israel, let's just use Israel, and you want to sell stuff in the United States. So you import it and you sell it. You import it and you sell it. You import it and you sell it. Israel's like, hey, this is pretty cool. We're making a bunch of stuff. We're selling it in America. And then America goes, hey, we're going to put a tariff on you. It's like, what the fuck is a tariff? Well, it's a tax. What? Okay. Look, if you're going to sell stuff in America, we want a little bit of a taste.
We want a little kickback.
Want a little kickback.
Okay, I got you.
So they say we're going to, you're going to charge a couple bucks for if you're going to bring stuff over here. The government wants a little piece, so they put a little tariff on you. It's basically permission for you to sell. It's your ticket to get into Disneyland.
I got it. Okay.
That's the best way to put it.
I got you.
So, then it just becomes a numbers game. Then Israel says, yeah, well, if you're going to sell stuff in our country, we're charging you admission also. So if let's say it's 10% on the dollar, every dollar that Israel sells in here, they got to give the government 10 cents. Every dollar we sell over there, we got to give them 10 cents. And if we sell a shit ton of stuff, Israel makes a shit ton of money. 10 cents is fair. Everybody's paying 10 cents. Well, some of the countries were charging us a shit ton. You're telling America you're going to pay 30 cents on the dollar. And we're like, hey, we're only charging you 5% on the dollar. What the fuck, man? It's just a tax, a little kickback to all the governments. So what Trump was saying is, he goes, why can't they all be the same number?
Agree.
That's all he says. Why can't they be the same number? So you get into this in tariff.
And then if you sell, whoever sells the most makes the most money.
Yeah, if we sell a shit ton in Israel, then Israel gets a shit ton of tariff money. Not because their percentage is higher, because we did more business.
Right.
All right.
And if Israel doesn't do so well in America with their stuff,
we don't get so much money.
Okay.
All right. So tariffs, that's the way tariffs work. That's what it's for.
Understood. Got it.
Now, the other basic of that is you can start getting into a pissing contest and tell Israel, I'm going to raise you to 15%. And they're like, well, we're going to raise you to 20. We're going to raise you to... And the tariff wars, which is what that is a very easy thing to start happening. And it's a very hard thing to stop. Again, I'm all for tariffs being equal. I don't know shit about how tariffs really work in the long term. And after listening to every economist out there, nobody's in perfect agreement either. Everybody's got guesses on how it's going to turn out. Somebody will be right and say, see, I was right all along. Yeah,
Can I
but
ask
we
a
don't.
question?
No.
Okay.
No. So I would not have done all the tariffs at once. And here's why. This is just my dumb mechanic in the middle of the desert thinking. I would have gone to 5 countries like in Europe and said, okay, we're straightening out the tariff shit right now. If you don't, I'm going to ramp up the tariff so bad, you're not going to be able to sell anything in America.
So you want them to make an example?
Well, I would have not an example. I just would have gone to 5 countries, and 5 countries like Germany and France and England and like, oh shit, we sell so much shit in America. If the tariffs get raised, no one's going to buy our shit. Our economy's going to tank. Okay, we'll square up with you. And then I'd go to the next 5 countries and the next 5 countries. And why? There's a reason, as a dumb mechanic, I would do this. So now I'm going to get 180 countries all in line, 5 at a time, and I will tariff the shit out of them till they realize their economy could break because there's no possible way they can compete with us. They're like, nah, fuck, we just got to do this. So they square up. Then I would turn to China. Because if you fuck with the entire world and China, what if the entire world had not started calling Trump? What if the entire world had banded together and said, all right, alone, we can't stand up to you with this tariff shit. But there's 185 countries and China. And if we all agree to stand up to you, you're fucked. That's the collective bargaining idea was the only chance the world had at going against Trump. And I would have thought, don't do it all at once. That's a big risk. But I would have chipped away at it and I would have gotten all the countries on our side. Then I would have gone to China and said, okay, we've got new agreements with everybody. So if you try to fuck us, we can live without you. We don't even care. All the other countries in the world are on board. All the other trade practices are going perfectly. So if you want to start a war, we're ready because nothing can hurt us now. But that's not what he did. Now, lots of countries have come on board, thankfully, quickly, and they're still calling more. I get it. But it was a big risk, in my opinion. Now, let's just talk about China, because that's what's on everybody's mouth right now. It's real simple. This is not rocket science. China imports about $435 billion worth of stuff.
Holy mackerel.
And if let's say we cut them off, which is like, we're going to raise tariffs so high, you can't sell here anymore. How long can China go with like, holy shit, China, they can still sell to Japan, they can still sell to Europe, they can still sell to Australia, but we are their biggest market. This is a big hit. How long can they go? Most economists agree they could go about 6 months and then they're in trouble. They're out of money. They can't feed their people anymore. They can't fund their military. 6 months and they're done. And that's the basics of what Trump is planning. It's like, you can't do this without us.
You can't sustain it.
But there's a flip side absolutely nobody is talking about.
What's that?
The $435 billion of stuff they send us, it isn't all just Happy Meal toys. It's hairspray, it's light switches, it's nails, it's garden hoses. It's everything you've ever seen. It's coffee mugs for Starbucks.
But we can't make that stuff here?
Hold on.
Okay.
If all of a sudden we tariff them and they stop sending it, they're done in 6 months. How long until we're done? We need those things. There's now some stuff we don't need. All right, we can get away with Happy Meal toys without them. And maybe Mexico also makes hairspray, so we can start buying some stuff from Mexico. But there's a lot of stuff that just China makes. How long, and this is where China says, we say you can't go without our money. China says you can't go without our stuff. China says we can get money from other countries, and we say we can get stuff from other countries. But the truth is, somewhere in the middle, someone's got to blink. Now, this is the part I get lost on because I don't study this. But it's simple. It's simple for me as a dumb mechanic in the middle of the desert. You want to look at it front door. You want to scale it down to nuts and bolts. If we cut them off, they're losing money and they're going to be done soon and broke. If we cut them off, there's a bunch of shit we don't have. What about medicine? Most of our medicine comes from China. And not just that, China controls the ingredients that make medicines all over the world. We don't always have the opportunity to just go buy medicine from someone else. We can't. Now, they haven't said anything about this. Ladies and gentlemen, this is just what's in my brain. There's never been something on the news that says, oh, China's going to withhold medicine. No, I didn't say that. I'm thinking out in front a little bit. What if they do? What if they withhold the medicine and you say, oh, well, fuck it, we're going to make our own? Really? How long will it take you to build a facility that is perfectly clean and passes all of the United States' EPA regulations and can begin its first production of its first pill? 3 years?
I can't imagine all our medicine is in China.
I think the latest number that I heard was 85% is made in China. Well, that's common. It's like, okay, I haven't looked at the numbers on it, but that's the number that everybody banners around. Some people say 90%. Some people say 70%. So it's a large number because everyone's in agreement. It's a huge, huge number. And if they tactically did something about that, I mean, if you cut off some stuff from China, are you prepared to get it someplace else or to make it yourself? That's how I think. Tell me, can we make now they're building chip factories in Nevada. They're building chip factories in Utah to make chips that are controlled by China and Taiwan. In case that goes south, we want to make our own computer chips for our cars, our military guidance systems. We got it. We're starting down that road. How far down the road are we making our own medicine?
I don't know. I'd have to look into that.
And this just brings up a side note. So you asked the basics of it. I would not have done all the tariffs at once, although it seems to be working. It's getting in line. Now we're at a point with China. Who's going to blink first? Are they going to run out of money before we run out of stuff? They're going to try to get money from other countries. We're going to try to get stuff from other countries. That's all this boils down to. You can listen to people talk for 4 hours, and I believe I've summed up the bottom line. Who's gonna run out first? That's it. But I want to bring up an interesting point. I want to go on record right now saying this out loud. So when this happens, you guys can say you heard it right here first on Gen X Talks.
Okay.
Let me give you one quick example.
Okay.
World War II, Japan was becoming aggressive, and they were clearly going to fuck everything up and dominate the world. One of the things the United States did before we went to war with them, we cut off their oil supply. We cut off oil and said, hey, you can't behave this way. And then Japan attacked Pearl Harbor and we entered the war. Now, back in that generation of common sense, 99 people out of 100 blamed Japan and said, you can't fuck around like that. One person out of 100 said, well, you provoked them. You cut off their oil. You cut off Japan's oil. What'd you expect them to do? But we had 99 out of 100 that had their head on straight. If we cut off China and they realize that they're going down and we are going to win this, what if they attack? What if they attacked Taiwan? What if they attacked Vietnam? What if they attacked Japan to gain the resources, the money that they need because they feel like their backs are against the wall? I'm not saying they would. I have no knowledge on that. I'm pointing out that if China does something aggressive in this day and age, every liberal Democrat will say, well, you provoked them into war. What did you want that? What did you think they were going to do? They do not have the good old American attitude of, hey, We were trying to straighten shit out. We were trying to protect and straighten shit out, and they crossed the line. No, liberal Democrats will say, well, I don't agree with what China did. But what did you expect? Trump backed them into a... Trump's responsible for this war. He did it. He backed them into a corner. Mark my words, ladies and gentlemen of America, listen to me now. Good people of the good ship, hear me speak. There will be a bunch of Americans that said, no, we tried to straighten this shit out. We put you into a corner to get China to behave correctly, act in the world's interest. They didn't. They snapped out. They attacked Taiwan, or they did some other drastic measure, and now we're going to go to war, and we're pissed. There'll be good Americans that still have that mentality from the World War II era, but please mark my words, how many fucking crybabies are going to be out there going, well, Trump just provoked it. It's not their fault. How did you expect them to respond? I'm just saying. We talked about the tariff thing before. This is why some of you know this already. Chris Cuomo had me on the... What are you doing in here?
Chilling.
No, get out. Where are the red lights on? You shouldn't even come in when the red light's on. The fuck out of here. Some of you know the story that Chris Cuomo called on our drive home and asked me to pull over on the side of the road and be on his show. And he was really adamant about his people wanted me to pull over and do a Zoom call and be on his show that particular day, because that's the day the stock market crashed.
Right.
And he knew that these tariffs were affecting you and I. It was going to get us less money on our house. It was going to affect our building supplies for the house we're trying to build in Nevada. He wanted me to say it. He wanted to pin me down and say, and I did. I said, Trump's tariffs are affecting me in a bad way. But then I said, so if it's better for the country, then I'll suffer. If it means I'm going to get less money on my house, if it means it's going to be longer and harder for me to build, all right, I don't like it. But if the overall result, if it's better for the country, then that's it. He just didn't give me quite enough time, because I wanted to say on the Chris Cuomo show, I wanted to say, isn't that what you Democrats are all about? Didn't the greatest Democrat of all time say the word? Didn't John F. Kennedy say the words, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country? Well, that's the way I feel. I'm asking what I can do to help Trump along and put things back where they're supposed to be.
But the generations don't know who that is or who that president is. And they probably don't even teach him about him anymore.
And well, why? Because the Democrats don't believe that anymore.
Exactly.
The Democrats are all about what they can do to stay in power, what they can do to give me free stuff, give me my Obama phone, put illegals up in hotels, all the stuff they've done through their actions. I'm not just quoting them. I'm watching what they've done. They are so far from... Do you think that would be their tagline? Yeah, their motto?
No.
Could that be their tagline today?
No.
The greatest
so they're not gonna
Democrat of all time, put up a sign and say, who said that shit? Who said, what you could do for your country? Oh, I'm sorry. Your greatest leader said that.
Yeah. Do you remember? I think we were up in Minden and I asked my brother where he was the day that Kennedy got shot.
Yeah.
Were you there?
Yes.
And he goes, yeah, we heard about it in school and we went on with our class. It was like, okay, it happened. Move on. I said, hey, well, how did mom and dad react? And he's like, no reaction, no, nothing. Kind of just was like, oh shit, it happened and kind of stuff.
Well, that happened with Reagan when he got shot.
Well, yeah, but you're talking about him and how, but so my brother's generation, your mom's generation are the last ones that lived through it.
Right. Yeah. They don't.
Nobody, our generation, we've heard of him, but we didn't live through it.
If we went those street reporters that go around right now, just going to crowds. If I went through a crowd right now and said, hey, what can you do for your country right now? Every liberal would go, I'm not doing shit for my country.
Exactly.
I'm not doing a goddamn thing.
What's my country going to give me?
That's right. They've completely flipped from where they used to be, and they wonder why they lost so bad, because it just kept getting a little worse and a little worse and a little worse till people went, okay, you're not really for the working people anymore. You're really not for America anymore. And they just turned their back and walked away.
Yeah.
Now, I'm in the same boat. I'm not happy about the tariff situation. I hope that it works out really well. It's affecting me negatively, but I'm not going to be a little bitch and cry about it. If Trump had called me and said, this is going to hurt you, but I think in the long run it's better for the country, should I do it or not? I would have told him do it. Name a Democrat that would have said that.
None.
Name a liberal that would have said, go ahead, Trump. If it hurts a little bit, I'm right there with you, buddy.
None.
This is how they act now. It's how they behave. So that's why Chris Cuomo was pushing me that day. And I gave him a truthful answer. I said, yeah, it hurts. But I'm a patriot, not a crybaby.
Yeah,
Let's try it.
exactly.
Let's move forward and keep doing what we're doing.
So what's next with you and Chris Cuomo? Is there anything?
Well, you trying to tease me into telling everybody. Some people know this. Yeah, Chris's team has offered to fly you and I to New York at the end of the month to put me on a live panel. A lot of people are doing it. Fox News is doing it. CNN's doing it.
Like a
ABC
town
News.
hall?
They're doing a town hall. Yeah,
Okay.
and they'll put people on stage, and they'll say this is a real town hall from real Americans, and they will drill us with questions about Trump. Now,
Are they going to do it live?
They're doing it live. Yeah, it's going to be live with a studio audience.
Ooh, right in your wheelhouse, live debate. That's you.
So if this does work out, which sometimes it doesn't, you get canceled, you get bumped, you get
They're
pulled
just
at the
trying
end.
to see if they can get people together. at the
Yeah, and
moment.
so if we are one of the ones, he made a clear offer that we're in, but you don't know how that's going to work out. We may not go, but if we do go, yes, at the end of the month there will be a live town hall on News Nation. Chris Cuomo will be the moderator, and he'll have probably 6 or 8 people, and he's going to hit hard questions. He's going to, he's going to be down the middle, but no softball stuff. He's going to hit you hard, and if he thinks you're on the left, he's going to hit you. If he thinks you're on the right, he's got questions to hit because he wants some honest, fair answers to be able to come up with a bottom line of where we're at.
Yeah.
So. If it works out, then we'll be there. And yeah, that's what we're doing with Chris at the end of the month. And
Stay tuned.
everyone is sending me emails and text messages and DMs going, "You're going to fly?
Exactly.
You're getting on a plane?" I'm like, I don't want to so bad.
Maybe I should change my mind and maybe not go.
I don't.
Put you on a plane all by yourself.
I couldn't go. If you don't go, I can't go.
No,
if
I'll
you go
go.
with me,
Drugs and whiskey.
I hope I can go. I hope I can overcome that fear and be in the airport and go, get on the plane, get on the plane, get on the plane, just get on the plane, just get on the plane and sit down. Once the plane's in the air, there's nothing you can do. Just get on the plane. I mean, I have to do that to make this work. And I don't know if I'll chicken out or not, but I just can't fly anymore. I used to be able to, but I can't. But if I don't know. So that's what's on the table.
We could probably get something from Dr. McDreamy to get you on the plane.
We may have to have Dr. McDreamy go with me to put an IV in me to run the drugs in me that'll keep me sedated. We'll have to tell Cuomo, we need 3 tickets. We need 3 seats next to each other because we're going to have our onboard doctor
Oh my
go with
gosh.
us. So, yeah.
All right.
Anyway, I don't know if that helps you out with where I'm at with where I'm thinking about the tariffs, but I really think that's the next big thing is who's going to blink first. Are they going to run out? Is China going to run out of money before we run out of stuff? That's it. It's not much more complicated than
Well, I
that.
guess we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah. So how long have we been on?
Hour 20?
Hour 17. You're not far off on that. Not too far off at all.
You're welcome.
So-
America and Denmark.
It's a busy day. Thursday is always a busy day around here. We got to leave here and we got some banking to do. Then I got to come back and edit all the podcasting stuff together for the audio version for Spotify for tomorrow and the video version that drops Sunday morning. Plus we have a show to do tonight. Got to get ourselves in order for that. And like I said, the gut pain that is making me wince if you guys are watching on camera is just killing me today. Hopefully I'll be better by tonight. I'm not going to chicken out and wimp out and not do the show. I'll be there. We'll have some stuff for you. If we get our things together, we'll have a great schedule for you on tonight's show. So say goodnight, Gracie.
Good night, Gracie.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for listening. Not sure where you tuned in from around the planet, AM, FM, Sirius XM, or perhaps you tuned in on the Armed Service Radio Network. Remember 2 things in life. Number 1, wherever you go, well, there you are. And number 2, I'll catch you on the flip side. I'm out.
Bye.
Life is a wild way you run, not telling where it goes. Nobody really knows, and it doesn't really matter now. Now we talking ourselves.